Okay, and we are live. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining
Hi, y'all.
Shari and I, as usual, for my legends, myths, and mysteries. Say that fast a couple times. Um, Shari, Voices from the Swamp,
Yep,
is with me. And be sure to check out her live tomorrow at 6 p.m. Shari, right? Your time?
6 to 8. Yes, Central Time.
Sherry is celebrating her 1 year channel anniversary.
Yay! I can't believe I made it the whole year.
Wish I had a bell or something. I go ding, 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 ding.
Oh, wait.
So, yay!
I made a. When I took Danny's shamanic class,
Yeah.
one of the things he talked about was getting a rattle, and I didn't have money to go buy a rattle, so I made one out of an
Of
old
a
pill
pill
bottle
bottle.
and some stones and stuff that I had, some gemstones and rocks, and then my son took a dowel that he had, as you can see on the bottom. He went through the bottom and with a
Very
screw
cool.
to screw the dowel in place. And so I can still open the cap and
Hmm.
change out the gemstones if I want to. So I have my rattle now. When I showed it to Danny, he was like, "Oh, now that's inventive."
And
And
you
then
can always get craft paint too and paint the
my,
bottle whatever color that you
I've
want.
got some materials up in the top of the closet, some samples, materials and stuff from my mom because she sewed and quilted. We
Hmm.
gave most of all of her stuff away, but there was a handful of stuff I kept. And so there's some of that material. I just haven't climbed up in the
Hmm.
in the closet to get it down and go through all the. I've been busy rearranging the room and trying to set it where it's more.
You can't keep a busy woman down. I
I'm
mean,
telling you. Well, and I
for
was
Christ's sake, she wrestled an
the
alligator.
computer
You can
and
keep
all this was
it
all like
down.
in front of the window, a big double window. And so, unless if it was dark outside,
Hmm.
I was washed out in the camera. And so I was
Yeah,
like,
I know
okay,
what
I
that's
got to
like.
move everything. So, but my biggest, I just got this, cost me 64 cents because I had points.
Ooh,
Let's see if I
big.
can. That's with the mallet one. And then it also comes with a
Hmm.
plain wooden one that's a little bit higher timber. But
For
it,
me, the metal ones are harder to make sing, but the crystal ones I have no problem with.
yeah, well, this is a Tibetan.
That's a pretty blue.
Tibetan. I know I love the color. That's why I went with this. And then the inside is also all decorated. And then it came with this little donut for it to sit on. And then I could set it on the donut.
And that was only 64 cents?
I had points.
Oh, that's right. Points you
I'm
said. I was going to be like,
I
wow,
do
what a
the
deal.
I do the my points, where you do surveys or you click on links or you watch a video and you get
Mm.
points. I've been doing it for years. And so I've got like thousands upon thousands of points built up. And you get points if you go shopping on a site that they're highlighting that day and you
Mm.
activate their score. And then if you buy something, you get so many points per dollar
Oh,
spent.
wow.
And so I had some saved up and I was able to get a deck of cards that I wanted and this.
You have to be
And
careful of some of those sites, though, because they collect your
this is
information.
Amazon. I got everything from Amazon.
Gotcha.
And but I got that and it was after they deducted the points and then I had a little gift card, Amazon gift card that I'd gotten. It cost me 64 cents out of pocket.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, hell, you can't beat that.
Can somebody explain to me? Maybe you can, Sherry. I just noticed that my name under my live here still has my old name on it. How do I fix that in StreamYard, everybody?
You might have to back out
Oh, I'll wait
and
till later
re-put
then.
your name in the
Okay.
in the in the little thingy before you enter studio. And it
Okay,
has
I'll
that
fix it.
little link where you can go in and put your name, how you want it to show.
I'll
And
do that afterwards. It's no big
yeah,
deal.
it's I mean, it's just a hassle of backing out and coming back in, but Swag bucks. I used to do swag bucks, and I don't know why I stopped, but now I do my points and I do inbox dollars,
Mm-hmm.
and then Capital One. I have a Capital One credit card, and they have a thing where no matter what kind of card you use, if you click on them to activate, then you'll get points for whatever you buy, and so many points per dollar spent.
So now I'm not
So
sure what Kala Lizzie. She says, "What site is that, Sherry?" That's all through Amazon. You said, right?
that's where I bought the stuff at Amazon. Um, I'm gonna put my links in. Give me a minute.
Oh,
I have to go pull them up.
okay. I was gonna say, I'd be
Yeah,
afraid to forget your links, but I see what you mean. Okay, so
yeah. I
while you're
don't.
doing that, I'm
They
just gonna
give
say
because
hi
if
to
you use
people.
my link, then I get points. So use my
Ooh,
link.
okay. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna say hi
So
to
while I'm
Honey
doing that,
Honey.
okay, this is
Hello
called
to Sab's Roar. Welcome. You're new.
my
Welcome,
points,
Dragonfly Crystal, which is Valerie.
and
Please go check out her
that's
channel.
the link.
Awesome. And we
And
got Teresa
then
Levine,
there's this one,
Serena, Kala Lizzie. I don't
inbox
think I missed
dollar.
anybody. And Janet P, I see popped in some. Hello, Janet.
Okay, and then there's this
And
one.
there we go. Okay, give Sherry all the points. She wants lots and lots of new cards
Yeah, I
to
got my wish
celebrate.
list. I got my wish list going, so
So
um,
what Sherry and I decided to do tonight, because we didn't want to go over too long, but we did want to read on both of these interesting individuals from history. Sherry was drawn to read on Mr. Valiant Thor, and I agreed to read on Mr. Indrid Cold. So that's how we're going to actually work in. You're my guest, my dear. So when you are ready and you're done putting all your links,
I got my
and you're
links
ready,
in. I got a couple of hellos left.
and you can go ahead
Up in
and
there
you
since
may
I
start.
started, and I like to say hi to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's just my southern upbringing. It's be
Oh
polite,
yeah,
say hello.
of
Don't want to be
course.
rude, hurt anybody's feelings. So, okay, I think I got everybody now because everybody else I think I had said hi earlier. So, oh, let me get a drink. I'm all growly. Uh,
Oh, yeah, make sure you have
it's
your
funny at the end
liquid.
of the day, I get more growly because my throat just gets tired, I think. Because when they did my neck surgery, it damaged the vocal cords because they go through the front of your neck, not the
Mm-hmm.
back of your neck. And so, yeah, there's that. Okay, where's
Okay.
notes?
So
Okay,
Sherry's going to grab her notes, saying hello,
grab
hello,
my
hello.
notes. Okay, Valiant Thor. Well, like I told Heather when she first asked me, gave me these two names, I said Indrid Cole I'd heard about because I watched the Mothman prophecies. And I have a friend of mine who I've known him for almost 20 years now. He's been very involved in the paranormal world, cryptids, ghosts, ETs, you name it. His name's Lon, and he runs
Mm-hmm.
Phantoms and Monsters on YouTube and Facebook. And I've just known him for years and years and years. And so when I first saw that movie, well, I saw that movie before I had met Lon, but when I met Lon and got to know people in that community, one night they were talking about the Mothman prophecies because Pleasant, Virginia, is that
Point Pleasant,
Point Pleasant,
Virginia,
Virginia,
West
West
Virginia.
Virginia, or regular Virginia? One of the
Uh,
Virginia,
yeah, one of the Virginias in
one of the Virginias.
Status.
I don't remember which
Mm-hmm.
one. They now have an annual Mothman uh,
Festival. Yep.
festival every year, And so, because so many people responded to the movie, because of course Richard Gere was in the movie, so everybody saw it. And
It was a pretty
and
good
they
movie
had
from what I remember.
it was a really good movie. It really was. I remember the first time I saw it. My son, it was, I don't know, one of the movie channels back in the day when we had cable. and this was back before I even went to Arizona. And it was getting ready to come on, and my son said, "Oh, Mom, you got to watch this movie. It's fantastic." And I'm like, "I don't have time for a movie right now." And he's like, "Well, just catch the first few minutes of it, and I'll save it, and you can come back and finish watching it later." I never got up from the couch 5 minutes into the movie. I
A
sat through
lot
the
of
whole
people
thing.
said that the movie was not as good
It was
as the
not
book, but
accurate
that's
according to
Hollywood.
what,
But it was still a
yeah,
good movie,
it
definitely.
was Hollywood bastardized, as they put it, you know. Um, but it made for a more exciting.
What?
Was that a meow on my end or your end?
That was my end.
Your end, okay. Um,
To say hello to everybody.
Hello, with the
There's the eyes.
beautiful eyes. I can't get over the eyes.
So Mazi's saying hello, everybody. This is
Hi,
Mazi. This is
Muzzy.
my boy. My girl is
Yes,
in the other room. So, but
sweet
everybody
baby.
knows that this is my YouTube kitty.
Yeah. He's like,
So
you can't get started, Mom, till I'm on air.
yes. So let's not interrupt Miss Sherry
And
anymore.
oh, Kelly's here.
Hi, Kelly. So I will let you. We will let you, right? Sherry, finish.
And okay, so anyway, so that's how I knew about who Indrid Cold was, because the Mothman Prophecies, a movie. Then I got to know Lon, got involved in that community, and then I kind of got away from it for a while. But Lon and I still keep up to date. When his wife passed
Mm.
several years back from cancer, I know he went through a really tough time with it. I
He's
just
got a good
remember
show.
he
I've
does have a
seen
good
it.
show.
I have
He's
seen it on
always had a good
Prime.
show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's always been very, very dedicated to what he's doing. So I have to give him
Mm-hmm.
credos for that. Y'all don't look at the mess behind me, please. I'm still rearranging and putting things up.
She thinks
Um,
that's a mess. You should see what's behind me. But
it just bothers me. It's that OCD in me. It's like I don't want to look at it. But anyway, so
but definitely check
I
out
know
Lon's
who.
channel if you get a chance,
Definitely
Sherry.
check out Ron's channel. In
It's
fact,
really good.
um,
He always has a very interesting panel
give
on.
me half a second here,
I mean, oh
and
wait a minute, I
I
can do it. What
will.
am I talking about?
No, I got it. I got it.
Okay,
I got it.
I keep forgetting I got the phone, and now I can just go ahead and
Okay.
so here, just really quick.
Copy.
Now see what you just did. No, you can't get up in the camera.
Okay. Well, I just posted his link to his channel as well. Um, and I invited him tomorrow night. I hope he can pop in. He's got a show tomorrow night, so he may not
Oh, that
be
would be
able to.
cool if he did.
Yeah, I would love it. I'd send him an
I would
email.
love to be a guest on his channel because I grew up, in a
Yeah, I
haunted.
mean, at
So
one
I would love
time
to be able to.
I was in talks with some people that he was doing the show with. Uh, this was a good 10 years ago. And they were talking to me about doing some voiceovers. It was before my voice got so scraggly sounding all
Oh,
the
but your
time. And
voice sounds cool though to be able to do something like that though.
maybe so. I mean, to me it
Yeah.
sounds horrible, but other people seem to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure. Um, and anyway, and then my mom got worse and I kind of dropped out of the community, but I kept in
Mm-hmm.
touch with Juan because I just liked him. He was a nice guy. He was always trying to be fair with everyone. And he was very dedicated to what he was doing. And that meant a lot to me because he put up with a lot of BS from a lot of other people that came and went, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Um, and we've all experienced that. So no matter what
Yeah.
field you go in, but especially when you're out there promoting yourself, you get a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people who are trying to make a fast buck, you
Yeah.
know, and that's just the way it goes.
That's
Um, so anyway, I already knew about that character. So that's why I told Heather I've never heard of this Valiant Thor. It's like the only Thor I know is
oh
from
woo.
from uh,
Yep.
from
Chris
the Marvel
Hemsworth.
movies, the Marvel universe, and he's big hunky Thor. So I mean He's got
I
a
mean, the
lucky wife.
picture of this guy, if he's real, he's not too bad looking too. But yeah,
Well, no, he's a nice looking man too.
but nothing comes close to
But
the
if
other
he
three.
doesn't age, then he still would be really nice looking. Otherwise, he'd be. If you go by the picture taken in the 60s
Mm-hmm.
to today, I mean, he would be in his 80s, 90s.
Mm.
Maybe that would be middle age for
The rumor says that he
his
sometimes pops up depending on
species.
him and Indrid. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought it would be fascinating, to read on these guys and see exactly, are they myth, are they legend, is there
Right.
a
Well,
little
and
bit of truth, to each of them.
with
But
this guy, I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's some, I mean, there's pictures of him,
hmm
and stuff. So
yeah,
this
but they're
was a
not
real
sure if that
person.
was like an actor, like people just taking pictures and
Right.
saying
Was
that
this
these
just
were.
some random pictures
hmm
of people at a barbecue? Or was this really this person? Um, that's never been proven one way or the other. And
And the women too that
there's-
were with them. There were three other
yeah,
people with them.
there were other crew members with him.
hmm
But according to the storyline, he he decided to finally come to Earth. This was the beginning of the space race. The
Yeah,
Russians had just put up Sputnik
Nick
and
1 and 2. Yeah.
whatnot. America was very behind in trying to catch up with them, and people were freaking out. Oh my God, they're going to bomb us from space. Um, and Eisenhower was president, so this was the late 50s, and he he was trying to see what we could do as a country to be able to get into space, to beat the Russians at going any further, that kind of thing. Um,
Just put this up here
there we
really
go.
quick
Yeah,
for you. It's a little hard to see,
it's not
but
a great picture, but
this is supposed to be him,
yeah,
and
that's
then
supposed
there's
to
the
be
two
him.
women that were came with him, and there's another gentleman right there. It's
Right.
still
Yeah,
hard
there
to
were
see.
two women and two men, but he landed um, some farmer's yard, and the guy kind of freaks out, calls the police. There's a spaceship out front. Well, highway patrol shows up, or the county, I don't know, the sheriff's office, whoever it was.
Alexandria, Virginia, March of 1957.
Right. In, like I said, the late 50s. I forgot to write the date down. So he shows up. The police approach him. Thankfully, it wasn't today, or they'd have probably shot him first. Um, and he said, I need to speak to your leader, take me to your leader.
Basically, yeah.
So they call the Pentagon and said, we have an alien from a spaceship and he wants to talk to the president. Where do we bring him? And the Pentagon said, bring him here. So they get in the car and they take off. They go to the Pentagon, where they're met at the Pentagon
hmm
by they're met by the head of what now would be considered Homeland Security.
hmm
That didn't exist then. It was another name for that organization, but same thing. And so he was there, some other high ups. They met this guy. They brought him into the Pentagon. They took him to the secret elevator down to the basement to take the train, go over to the
I
White
didn't
House.
know there was a train from the Pentagon to the White House.
From the
I like
Pentagon
how
to the
they
White
do
House.
it.
I knew about that already from something else I'd read about years ago. And so they took this train and they got to the White House and he met with Eisenhower. And Eisenhower was very interested in speaking with him, but he was also very skeptical.
Mhm.
And so he said, well, if you like, I can take you to my ship and show you. And Eisenhower was like, well, let's talk first before I go to anybody's ship.
Buy me a
And
drink first before you show me yours.
right,
Buy me
let's
dinner.
and so meanwhile, the Pentagon people had taken his spacesuit and were doing all these tests on it. They
Yep.
couldn't pierce it, they couldn't shoot through it, they couldn't
Nope.
burn it, they couldn't drill through it with a diamond drill. It was indestructible, and they
Mhm.
couldn't figure out how. Um, so he speaks with Eisenhower, and he tells Eisenhower that Earth has been under surveillance for thousands of years because the Federation of Planets, I guess is how you would put it.
The High Council.
Yeah, very Star Trek, you know.
Yep.
They they were thinking that maybe we were close to being ready to be brought into
Hi, Kelly.
the fold, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, Kelly. And but he told Eisenhower, in order for this to happen, all the countries on the planet would have to agree to get rid of their nuclear weapons and their bombs and to ascend to a higher level of being, you know. And
Good luck with that.
Eisenhower told him, we're not ready for that. You know, there may be a bunch of us that are ready for that,
Mm-hmm.
but across the board, we're not there yet, you know. But maybe you can help us get there. And so Val, as they called him, agreed to stay, and he worked with the Pentagon for the next 3 years.
Yep, 3 years.
8 months after, I think it was 6 or 8 months after he met Eisenhower, NASA was formed. And within a year after that, Velcro was created. Freeze-dried abilities was created. All this stuff that NASA has, like over 6,000 patents
Mm-hmm.
of stuff that they've created since that time. And Val worked with him for 3 years. And because of that, we were able to, according to this story, we were able to get into space and go a lot faster than what most critics say are humanly possible, that we would just leapfrog that quick, you know. And if you watch other movies or read other things like Hidden Figures or something, where it talks about the battle they were having, trying to figure out the trajectories and how to get a man into space and all that. And so there's no talk in that movie.
It took 3 African American women to do the math for them to be able to do it. That was a great movie. I can't remember the name of the movie offhand, but it's got Kevin Costner.
Hidden Figures. Hidden Figures is the name of the movie.
Great movie.
Fantastic movie. And the lead woman in the movie, the mathematician, the one that was like genius level mathematician. Matter of fact, she just passed away.
Yeah.
Last year, a year before last. She was in her 90s. And they renamed an entire wing at NASA.
Yeah. I get goosebumps just as you're telling that. It's like,
I know, I am too. I got goosebumps coming up. But they renamed an entire wing of NASA after her, because of what she contributed to the program.
Just like Carl said, how do we get
how to get them there and bring them back
home?
And
Valiant Thor claimed to be from Venus too. That was interesting.
He said he was from Venus, and that part of their mission was to get people to accept that Jesus was real, and that he and the angels were also ETs, and that the purpose that he came here was to help bring humanity along and get us into that higher realm, and that they're still working on it, you know, but that he's very real, and he comes back all the time.
Shari, how does that resonate with you? Because,
that is with, as far as,
and just an open discussion,
he's an ET
chat,
and the other people are angels. Okay, I could buy that. I mean, it's not that I don't believe Jesus is who Jesus said he was. And this is where I have to be careful, because a lot of my personal prejudices against the Christian church and the Christian religion
it's understandable.
and the the pain and the horror that they've inflicted upon mankind, all in the name of God.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I was in that cult for years, and that's how I think of them as is a cult.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think if you stick to just what Jesus taught, you can't go wrong
Yeah.
because he taught love.
Yeah.
We're all equal. We're all worthy. We're all lovable. We should always do for each other how we want done to us. The golden rule, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I have no problem with Master Jesus, as Mark calls him, Spirit
Mm-hmm.
Whisper. And he
Yeah, I
channels him.
like that. Mm-hmm.
So, it's like, okay, I've watched Mark channel him. It's like, okay, he's, that kind of blew my mind. It's
Yeah.
short circuited for a day or two. I had to think about that one.
And what's also interesting with Mark, and besides channeling Master Jesus, he also channels
Channels Pan
Pan, and
and Dwell.
Pan is actually what the image of Pan from mythology is the image that they use to create the Christian devil. So it's interesting
Yeah.
how I love how Mark
Pan
shows
and Pan and Jesus
to coming
work
together, and
together.
they're yeah,
And there's
exactly.
also he also channels um Dwan Cole.
Yeah, I've never,
He calls him DK because he can't pronounce
DK.
it.
It's easier to pronounce.
It's easier. So DK.
Yeah,
Um when Mark did a reading for me a couple of weeks back, I won a free reading with him.
that's
And
wonderful.
it was fantastic. If you can get a reading with this man, do it. He had my hair standing on end. Um,
Ooh.
but about halfway into the reading, and he's channeling Pan as he's reading to me.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, Pan wants me to tell you, and DK wants me to tell you, Master Jesus, they're all right here. They want me to tell you, you don't need me to talk to them. You can
Mm-hmm.
channel them yourself. And I went, I can. He said, yeah. They said, anytime you want to talk to them, just go into your quiet place and ask for them, and they will come. So I was like, okay, I haven't connected yet, but I'm working on it. So, I'll
That's wonderful.
probably I'll probably be flipping out when it happens. So there's parts of it. One of the things that kind of sent a red flag up is one of the men that Val hooked up with, supposedly,
Mm-hmm.
was this other man, another Mark or Mike. I think it was Mark.
Was it Frank's Strangest? Because that's one of the names
Yes,
that's
I'm thinking
associated
Mark.
with
It was
him. Frank Strangest.
Frank Stranges, and he was an evangelical preacher.
Mm-hmm. So
And
that's where
so
the thinking that came in.
the books that he's written about Val are very proselytized. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like I don't know how much of what he has said is the actual fact of who or what Val is,
Mm-hmm.
or if all of the evangelical stuff mixed in is just from him trying to convert people.
Exactly.
Because if you get people like me who don't have a problem with Jesus but want nothing to do with religion, then you might be able to get those people to come listen to you because you're talking extraterrestrials and Jesus was an ET. And so you kind of two birds, one stone, two stones, one bird, um, or two birds, one stone, however it goes. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Same
Um,
here.
thank you, Viviani, for putting in Mark's
Oh, I was just in the
link.
process of doing that. Thank you, Viviani.
I just happened to look up and I saw it. Um, but it's like if I just go by what was said about Val.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, do I believe in ETs? Well, yeah. We're not the only
Yeah.
intelligent beings in the universe. for however many universes
Many
there
more
are.
intelligent than us.
And I think that there are multiple upon multiple upon multiple of universes and galaxies and solar systems and planets and intelligent beings. There's too much evidence on this planet that we have been visited by others for me to say it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
I've seen a UFO that I knew was not a plane and not just a weird light in the sky.
Mhm.
And I didn't know what it was. What does UFO stand for? An unidentified flying object. It was unidentified, it was flying, and it was an object. And it was moving up, down, all around, zip, zip, zip.
Oh,
I was with,
definitely. Yeah.
I was with two other people, and we were all
Because
standing there looking at it.
even reverse
And we
engineer.
all kept looking at each other going, are you
Mhm.
seeing this? Are you seeing this? Oh my God, are you seeing this? So, yeah, I've seen it. Did I meet little green men from Mars? No. Did I get abducted? Not that I'm aware of. I don't have any time loss, you know. Um, but is it possible? Absolutely. I think so. Because there's just too much evidence on the planet that they do exist. Sip. Oh, okay. Sorry. I'm getting really growly.
Yeah, thank you. I didn't want to
Thank
interrupt,
you,
but
Calla
I could
Lizzie.
hear that
Yeah.
she probably needed that.
If I start getting really bad, y'all say something and I'll take a drink. Sorry.
Sorry.
So I just found it fascinating. I found several videos on them, read a couple of articles on them. I would have liked to have taken more notes, but a lot of it was on breaks at work when I was able to do this.
And this
So I
was
didn't.
short notice too, folks. And Sherry wasn't feeling too great yesterday, so I
Yeah, I was
appreciate her. This was kind of like
homesick
the last
yesterday.
thing.
I had some little stomach bug. I don't know. Spent the day puking. Not fun.
And you
Um,
don't even have to throw cards if you don't want to either. We could
oh
just
no,
have
I
a
don't mind throwing
conversation.
cards. It's,
Okay.
I've got Scott's ET deck now,
Me too. I already
so
did a base reading for
I'm ready.
Indrid, so
But so I find it. Did he work with Pentagon? Did he meet Eisenhower? I don't know. But if you go back in history and look at some of the things that people in those leadership positions said during that time and how they said it, it begs to reason there's a strong
And
possibility. Yes.
Eisenhower's granddaughter is big in the metaphysical New Age community.
Yeah.
She's all about saying, yes,
She
my
says she knows
grandfather
Val.
knew the Val. I met Val. I mean, she's got quite a resume of,
Yeah. Quite a story with him.
and
So,
also a lot of people were like, when Eisenhower gave his farewell speech, he was actually calling for the end of nuclear weapons and whatnot, and
well,
start drawing back, and people
his
couldn't
famous
understand
final
why.
speech when he
Couldn't
talked about
understand.
the military industrial complex,
Complex.
that the worst thing that this country could do would be to give them control. And unfortunately, he left office and they took control. So that's why we have a Pentagon budget that's astronomically ridiculous while we got kids starving to death in the ghettos. There's
All
there,
this homelessness in the streets.
there's no excuse for it
Nope.
in my mind. Okay, that's me getting political. I don't want to go there.
But it does fit in with the
But it fits.
legacy,
Yeah,
with that,
it,
because
it
that's
all kind of
exactly what
goes hand in
Sally and
glove.
Thor wanted. They wanted people to live in peace and harmony with each other. They wanted to show that it can be done, that everybody could be taken care of. And that's why when he gave that speech, a lot of people, because
And
he was seen as a war hero during World War II and
I
everything,
found
and they're
it.
like, what happened to him?
Yeah, I mean, he was a
So
phenomenal general.
he was influenced by someone or something
Yeah,
during his years in office, those 3
and
years in
like
office.
most people that I've known that have been to war, actual war, I'm talking like Vietnam and forward. Um, both of my grandfathers were in World War II. Their attitude towards peace and getting along with others is totally different than somebody that has never had to go to war, that has never had to fight a battle, or to look somebody in the eye and kill
Yeah.
them, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because somebody higher up than you says, that's the enemy, kill them. What did that person do to you? You know,
Mm-hmm.
again, we're getting off into the political bent, but
Mm-hmm.
that's, you
But
can
these are
kind of
things that
see
they
how
wanted us to consider. He wanted
a
us to consider.
general
Mm-hmm.
could go from a war mindset to we need to find peace on earth
Yep.
mindset. One, you have the horrors of what you've experienced, what you've commanded others to do, what you've done yourself in the heat of battle. And at the same time, if this person was real that he met and gave him what he gave him,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that would kind of change my attitude, I would think, about war. You know, if I met someone like that. I did my pendulums on Val um, last night as I was going over the few notes I actually was able to take and rewatching one of the videos. And it kept telling me, yes, he was real.
That's what
So,
I'm getting right now. Before you even said that, I'm getting the spin for a yes.
yeah.
And I
Um,
just want to
I
ask
did
for myself.
all three of my pendulums. I found the tiger's eye one, by the way. Um, the cat hit it.
Oh, mommy, what's this?
Yeah, it disappeared. I was not a happy camper, but I found it when I moved the bookcase. But so is he real? Is he not? I have nothing telling me that he wasn't real.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I don't have any definitive proof that
Oh, I know.
he was real, you know.
Did you ask your
So
pendulum if the pictures that were presented of him
yeah, and
was?
it told me yes, they were
Oh,
real.
really? They were real.
That's what it said. So, but
Because I'm sure they have the ability to take on human form. You know.
well, according to the what I read and what I watched, he looked like a normal human being, a tall 6 foot something guy, you know, just not movie star gorgeous, but just a nice looking average guy that
Mm.
you would meet anywhere. Um, so
And some people believe that some of us came from Venus when it was still
I do
inhabited
believe we're all from
right,
stardust.
all different, we're kind of like the melting pot planet Earth from different other races,
Yeah,
coming here and trying to, for
I mean,
whatever
Hollywood has pretty
scientific
much convinced us that they're all here to blow us up or eat us or
yeah.
whatever.
But you do have to admit though, Signs was a good movie with Mel Gibson,
Oh yeah, and
and you do have to have the
it
bad
gives a point
with
of
the good
view of
of
this was
God
a race of
taken.
aliens who were dying out,
Hmm.
who in a panic were trying to take another planet so they could survive. And
Sounds like something we would do to another planet. Hence
except
Avatar.
how
It's
many
the
times have
movies.
we done that to different countries? Look what we did to the native tribes just in this
Hmm.
country alone. You
Yeah.
know, the white man shows up and says, "Oh, all this wonderful land is mine. I'm taking it. It's now America, whatever, you know." And the Native Americans are like, excuse me, we were here first. And it's not yours. Doesn't belong to you. Doesn't belong to us. Belongs to Mother Earth.
Stops. There's another gentleman in our YouTube community. You may or may not have watched his videos. His name is Scott Allen, Spiritual Essence. He's very highly connected to extraterrestrial races and spirit guides.
I
And
believe the channel's one. I mean,
he has admitted that his guides have told him that there are negative because you can't have negative without positive. It's just the natural balance of life, not just on Earth, but in the universe itself, but that there is a majority of kinder ET races. And trying to learn not to say alien because I guess according to them that's like a derogatory term. That they are an ET race. There are brothers, star brothers and sisters, and that there are more positive races, loving races that help protect humans more now on Earth from the negative um, races that exist.
Okay, I drew some cards.
Okay,
I had three of them jump out at me, so it's like, okay. The first one I drew
those
says
are fun.
Andromedan knowledge to manifest your desires. And I have a feeling that that's probably would be pretty close to what Val would look like,
Well, look at his
but
face
with
features with the bones and stuff. Yeah.
yeah, but with peach colored skin and not blue. He looks more like he belongs on Avatar or whatever the planet was.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the other one is
Pandora.
mysteries of your soul are within your choices, deja vu, interest, and dreams.
I got that card too for my guy, but I'll be quiet.
Oh, okay. And none of these are the cards I pulled on it last night. And then I just got crystal healing. That's one of the ones that jumped out at me.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, I mean, we're looking at a race of people that are so far advanced of us. It's not even funny. Um, and then this is another one that jumped out. Says, pay attention to your heart and soul.
I got that card too.
Physical and emotional feelings are divine guidance. So, as we're sitting here talking about it, we're getting goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, we're ringing somebody's bell. And this the last one, I don't know. I think this is meant for me.
I got
just,
that card too. Oh my
just,
gosh.
just relax, take a vacation. Yeah, I need a vacation from my vacation. I haven't had a vacation in a while. I took a week off because my boss made me. It was like, but I'm not going anywhere. What am I supposed to do for a week? I didn't do anything.
Buy more cards on
played on
Amazon.
I played on the computer. I did shows, watched some movies,
I'll say water
choking,
fountain. No, we don't want you to choke.
smoked too much.
Oh, yeah. I was like, don't get me started on that one.
Well, that's like when I emailed you 20 minutes before and said, I'm running out for a cigarette. I'll be back in a minute. Because I didn't want you to think I had forgot again,
Oh no.
Because
No,
last
this is
time I
the
was out
last
there
one.
just do thinking I have plenty of time. And it was like, no. Okay.
And if anybody has any questions that you think you would like Shari to ask that we may not have already covered or discussed, that you would like for her to check with
Oh,
you
sure.
on Valiant Thor, go right
I mean,
ahead.
I will try my best. All right. Okay, well, we started out with the lovers.
Mm.
So I've always kind of felt like maybe it's not exactly, romantic love or physical love, but sometimes it can just be the deep connection you have with another soul that you love.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're drawn to that person, you're involved in that person. And I think that if we're to take what Val was saying as gospel, um, that there are races out there that are waiting for us to wake up and catch up so that we can be part of the galactic whole, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And geez, how much better would things be all the way around for us? I mean, you know, um,
It would be humbling. It really would, I think, for some, but also scary because of the religion, because we're taught, a certain way.
oh yeah, I think that's the only reason why the government has not come out boldly and just said, yeah, there are UFOs, there are ETs, we've been in contact. They do help us out. I think it's because the religious faction of the world would have a major panicked freak out and
Yeah.
would know what to do.
Furious. Yeah.
World judgment.
Hi, Sharon. Hi,
So,
Amy.
hi, Amy. Hi, Sharon. And so, judgment. They're in judgment of us right now. They're waiting for us to get our shit together, and pardon the French, and so that we can move on, move up,
Yeah,
get
and they're showing themselves to us more and more now. People with their phones are people are starting to get more at ease now, looking up and seeing something. So it's becoming much more prevalent now.
exactly, exactly. And then pardon me, half a second here, as I forgot to open something real
Oh
quick.
yes, and really quick, Sharon has openly shared with everybody in her lives and in chat that, according to Dr. Gale, Sharon does work on a craft to help teach and expand and learn. And if Sharon wants to share more in chat tonight, feel free,
Well, I
sweetie.
know I had talked to
Hmm.
I had talked to Dr. Gale. There was that website you can go to and put in like all your birth information, and it tells you like what
Oh,
your
right.
planetary
Oh yeah.
uh, heritage is. And
Ooh.
I didn't have one listed on mine when it came down, and so I was in chat one time and I asked her. I said, "What the hell does this mean? I'm from nowhere." And she's like, "No, it means that you're part of all of them, and you've been here a very long time." And it was, yeah, mind blown. I was like, okay. I didn't quite know how to take that. It was like,
Wow. You'll have
but
to let me know what this website is afterwards.
I'll have to find it. Because I saved the report that it prints out. Um, because it was years ago. It's been what, I moved back here in 20 at the end of 2011. It was probably around 2013 that I was on this other network, a paranormal radio network. That's how I met Lon. Um, and I was listening to one of the shows one night, and they had a palm reader on. This woman has been like tested and had certifications from some of the biggest psychic institutions around the world of how accurate her palm reading is. And so she was telling everybody, if you take a picture of your hand and then just email it, I can look at the picture and read your palm for you. So I thought, okay, cool. So I got my camera, I held up both my hands, I took a picture, emailed it to her. When she got to me, and she just looked at it, and then she looked up and she was like, oh my God. She's like, I've never seen anybody with that many lives on their hands.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, what? She says, you have multiple upon multiple lives on your hands. Your lifeline is just like splinters and fractures and all these. She said, you've been here for so long. I don't even know how old you are. And that was 10 plus years ago. And then here I come up and I'm being told this now. So I'm like, okay, by Dr. Gale, I was like, okay, this is because
Wow.
the first thing it made me think of was the palm reader. And that's right, Sharon. You and I are in the same boat together. Who knows? I may be up there with you building it. Maybe that's why I'm tired all the time. I need some sleep. Slack up.
Mhm.
um, So, I, I mean, it just kind of leaves you
Yeah.
speechless, when you're told that kind of thing. You're like, well, what am I
It's
supposed
like
to do?
trying to wrap your head around it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, just talking about it now, it's hard to try to wrap my head around it. And then the last card that I had pulled um, is the Six of Wands, which tells us, there's victory, there's success, public recognition, self confidence, progress, rewards. I mean, there's so many. I went blank on the card. I had to pull up the my cheat sheet,
I still do
and
too.
so it's like I'll get that in there in a minute. There we go. Um, I really like these cards. Uh, so I mean, that's kind of all part of what Val was teaching. To be rewarded if we accept peace and love.
Mhm,
We live according to what Jesus taught us, and that doesn't have anything to do with anybody's religion.
mhm,
Even if you don't think of him as anything more than just a very prophetic teacher, okay,
mhm,
cool. I have no problem with that either. Just to follow what he taught, you know, the and the level he was on as he taught it to us is always was the thing that I think made me not fear accepting or following what he taught when religion itself was just like, I got to get out of this crap. Was that an orb that just flew by your
I
head?
think so.
Because it went straight down
This is the
and then
first one
back
I've
up.
seen since I moved to this new place. And
I,
it was
I
weird.
caught
You
it.
know what I was thinking when that happened? I was waiting so that I wouldn't interrupt you, but with all these male masters, I'm thinking, I was feeling, okay, now we need to start bringing in and
Yeah,
mentioning
I
the
got the window
feminine.
open.
We need to bring the feminine masters in,
Yeah, I got
and that they
the
have such a
YouTube window
power.
open on my other computer. And so I looked over because it's a delay from what you and I are looking at. There's like a 5-second delay. And I looked over, and sure enough, I saw that sucker up and down. So uh,
It was
I don't
funny
know
the one night when I was like with
what's
Tangi, I was like this, going, get up.
650 right around right. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
might want to mark it, and when you post it,
most
make
definitely.
notice.
But
We
I
got
was thinking
we
that
got orbs.
we need to bring more of the feminine masters forward too. That needs balance as well.
Oh,
We have a lot of
without
beautiful
a doubt.
male masters, but we need to start bringing more of the feminine into the fold,
Without
into
a
the
doubt.
artwork, into the conversation. Um,
Well, look at where we're
there
at
are
in this
so
world.
many.
And who's been the one that's been in charge? The men. And what, we're now on the brink of another war. I say
Yeah.
it's time for
Because
them
I
to go
hear
home
a
and they
lot
can keep
about
house and let us run things for a while. No offense to any guys out there. I love men. I have no
there's
problem
a
with
lot
men.
of channeling Master Jesus, Master Buddha, Master Pan, and I'm like, okay, now we need to start channeling and bringing in Master Mary, the guy, Mary Magdalene,
Yeah.
Mary, Isis, other women from other cultures, Danu, great
Hell, we got Wonder
mothers like
Woman. Where is she?
I mean, we start bringing, yeah, Diana,
Yeah.
Artemis, these just because, I mean, these women have such a powerful mythology and story, and they go way back just as well. So there really needs to be more of an inclusion, and I'm not knocking bringing in because I'm actually, with the help of our community, I'm becoming more able to start acknowledging, or
She
when I
is.
hear Jesus' name without
You
feeling
see how big
that
she's gotten?
anger, that rage because of everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I never felt that as a child because when I was growing up, I was raised Catholic. And
Yeah.
so when I started learning about the divine feminine, I ended up holding that against him, and I wanted nothing to do. So now, with it being more of an open conversation about, the possibility of different angelic realms, what exactly, are ETs angels? Are they some
Doesn't
yes,
really matter.
some no? All different. We're all coming together and sharing our ideas with respect, and
Right.
that's where a
And
lot of it has
does
come
it
from.
really matter if they are or aren't? I say it really doesn't matter. In my opinion, it's they're here to help us.
Mm-hmm.
They're here to protect us. They're here to guide us. They're here to point us in the right direction if we lose our way.
Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Brenda. And I mean, there is so much. Hi, Flowing. I missed you. I didn't see you come in. Um, there's just there's so many people that are so worried about what label is put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you can't go to heaven because you're not a Baptist, or you can't go to heaven because you're not a Catholic, or they're
Mm-hmm.
not real Christians because they're da 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 da. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
who cares? If we could just dump religion, we'd be better off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I probably follow more closely the pagan and Wiccan
Because it's all
religions.
encompassing. Because that's where the
Yeah,
major religions took their dogma, their
that's
books,
it.
so that they convert the people to their patriarchal religion. So when it comes down to it, like Native American spirituality,
Yeah.
the indigenous people of Europe,
I would much
hey,
rather
this is
follow the
where this
Cherokee or the Hopi or the Navajo than I would. And
well,
I'm
that's
part
where we're
Cherokee.
all coming from,
Yeah.
and they feel that their peoples, these indigenous people, came from the stars. So it's time to get back to the earth, so to speak, and start reconnecting through to our home planet, and start recognizing our connection and how we're all
You
like
see Madu
this, you know.
over my
Wow.
shoulder. Look how big
Ew. Oh
she's
my
like
goodness,
double
she's
her
gotten
size
so
now.
big.
And she's still tiny. She's still a little bitty, but she's like double her size.
So,
Yeah.
Brenda, yeah,
Cree.
I didn't
Okay.
know.
Cool, Brenda. I'm part Cherokee, a very little part, but um I'm
I
proud.
was supposed to be too, but when I got tested through Ancestry, it came up zero. So I percent. So I
See,
don't know.
mine's so, and that's it. Mine's so diluted that it probably wouldn't show up either. But I
Uh,
know it's there because of family that have done intensive genealogy traces.
really?
One
Wow.
aunt in particular. Um,
I had an aunt that did that too. When she passed, they just threw everything out. That wasn't
yeah.
relevant to
Well,
the family,
um,
unfortunately. Okay,
sorry.
come get down now.
Um,
Good boy.
as you know, I had an aunt that a great aunt that's been doing this for 50 something years, and she finally just she's gone mentally. Um,
Mm.
and it all happened just as the lockdown
Oops.
started. It's like,
Oops.
wow, we couldn't get there or anything, and
That's sad.
it's we finally have other family that are finally got her in a place to take care of her, and they made a point because the state of Texas took her stuff. They took her house, all her stuff, everything. And there were family members that were having a conniption fit saying, I know damn well this woman left a will and she left
Mm-hmm.
all her stuff for certain people. She had not just Social Security, but she had several retirement accounts and a lawyer that
Oh, that's
handled
not good.
everything, that was supposed to see to her getting old and dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it really bothers me that the state of Texas was able to just come in and just take it. Well, evidently, whoever was
I
in
love
charge of
Texas.
doing that saw all of the genealogy work, the boxes of reams of paper and stuff. And one of our relatives did get a hold of it. She was able to go and collect it all. But it's like, there were how many pictures are there in there of family members that are
Yeah.
now gone forever because nobody knows what happened to it, or all of her things. I mean, she didn't have fancy things. Most of her things were old, but she took really good care of her stuff. It still looked new. And she had a house, the whole bit. I mean, they took all of it. It's like she had a grandchild that I know damn well she probably left all that to.
Hmm.
But anyway, that's,
Yeah, Texas is the gift that keeps on giving. Um,
yeah, I'm glad I don't live there no more. Of
now, are
course,
you done with your
I lived
questions?
there when Ann, oh crap, I'm going to draw a blank on her name. Richards was there. Ann Richards, when she was governor, she
Mm.
was an awesome governor. Texas was practically solid blue, and she did all kinds of stuff for the people in Texas. It was a real boom while she was governor.
Gotcha, Brenda.
And,
On its way.
and psychic hairstylist.
That's
How does that
new.
work? How does that
Well,
work?
well, I have a friend that does massages, and when she would be giving massages, because she has, one of those degrees, she's also does astrology and she's a psychic. So she would call that M&Ms. You would get a massage and then a message from spirit while doing that. So I'm assuming maybe Brenda, that's how you do it.
That's it. Oh, I agree, Brenda. Once women take over, it's going to be a whole new ball game.
Oh, wait a minute. What am I doing? Do I need to?
And
Hmm,
yeah, there's a lot of
that's not the right
these
word.
red states that talk about, well, we're just going to secede. But what they don't realize is that after the Civil War was lost by the South,
Hmm.
the Constitution, the amendments and whatnot, they changed some of the laws that it is you can't do that now. It's if you try, if your leadership tries, they're going to all go to jail like instantly, according to the Constitution, because they changed that so that it cannot happen again. And so they talk this crap, but they can't do anything. So, um,
Just looking at see who might want a wrench. I think I got
well,
everybody.
where
So
you at, girl? I might need you to do my hair. It only works if you're down in Louisiana. I can't travel anywhere. I still don't have a car. Um,
oh, but it's coming.
yeah,
You got it.
I mean, I got the old beat up one, but it's a hold your breath every time you get in it. Um,
So you know what I think we might do? I might do instead of going through and doing Indrid Cold. Maybe I'll save that for another live because we've just been discussing Valiant Thor and how his message
it
connected
was
with
just so
everything
uplifting
today.
to me when I
Yeah, we'll
first,
stick with
when you
that.
gave me the two names, it was like, well, I knew what the one was,
Hmm.
but the other one, I was like, the only Thor I know is in Marvel movies. I mean, um,
I mean, I the cards. I did a quick baseline, and for me, I got several like the same cards. That I do believe that he was a true entity. It scared a lot of people because he was smiling. And I guess him and not the only others that came off the ship were also smiling. So I was getting a lot of positive cards. I got, the mysteries card as well,
yeah.
destiny and success, new moon energy, full moons, hidden secrets. And then you got the Andromedan, I got the Arcturian, but intuition, big part of the cards. But like you said too, making sure to take time for yourself, trying to get out of the technology, reconnect to the earth, because technology is great, but it means nothing if you're not connected to the earth. Paying attention to, your feelings, your heart, your soul, and of
Oh,
course the vacation card again too. So they're
and I just
here,
pulled this one.
and I mean they're here to
Female
help.
ancestors around you.
Yeah. So both of these individuals, well, one might have looked. That's the one thing too with, um, I think, like Valiant Thor and his people, they may have taken on the role to look as humanoid as possible because they understood that for the human race, something that doesn't look human is scary to them, is frightening.
Even
And
people
with
that do
Indrid
look human are
Cold,
scary to them.
and hit the people that were on his ship, with them all being smiling and not quite as just being a different body, being a different race. And they tried to dress, like
Yeah,
humans. Um, there was no way for some people to get past that, and I think that's why a lot of the mythology he was kind of used as a protagonist, not a protagonist, maybe that it is, but he was seen as like used as a negative character because he was scary looking. Because that's what humans do. Anything that doesn't look like us that's scary is, bad or negative or dark. And some people are asking, are they both the same? And I can tell you right now, for me, I'm feeling that Indrid Cold and Valiant Thor are two different energies.
yeah,
Even Indra Cold had said, well, I guess I could talk about him a little bit. Indra Cold said that they were from the planet Lanulus in
yeah.
the
And I just pulled
Ganymedes
these two.
galaxy. And
So
so I think because like apparently the first sighting was that he terrified and scared and went after two boys in New Jersey. Well, maybe those two boys, if this is true, were doing something they weren't supposed to be doing. But
very,
of course, the second sighting was Woodrow Derenberger driving home. The vehicle stopped. He just says, "Pull down your car window," just smiling, asking a few questions. Said, "Don't be afraid. We'll be seeing each other again." And of course, later on, he did come back to the family home. The daughter saw them, and the daughter, up until I don't know if the daughter is still alive. I saw a video today of an interview because she wrote a book, but she claims that yes, he was very real. That unfortunately her father's connection with him, because it sometimes took him away from home so long, did cause a break in the family. It did. He started, drinking a little too much, was having some mental health difficulties and issues, and at one point, I think they had to separate their connection. But according to the daughter, he was there for her father's funeral. So
yeah.
I don't feel anything, you know. Um, I know that the third sighting was with the Lilly family during Point Pleasant with the Mothman, and so
They kind of
I
made him out to be evil and scary. Not,
yeah, in the movie, yeah.
yeah.
Um, so that might be something. I don't know because when I just pull a couple more cards I'll use. With him, I got also solitude, um, a wishing well, and coming apart. So I think that people,
Shapeshifter. Yeah, good one, Brenda.
yeah, it's I'm trying to like connect with it, but it almost feels like this is more from a human perspective than his. It's like, humans are so used to, at least at that time, with their solitude, um, what they wish he or they would look like isn't always going to be what, we would feel comfortable with. And that's kind of like learning how to push past our boundaries, learning how to, if we can't accept our own diverse culture here on earth and how we look different from one another, how the hell, excuse my language, are we expected to be open to, ET races from other planets that are going to come here looking vastly different than us ourselves? And a lot of that diversity, in the way we think, is what is, was pulling people apart, drawing people apart. And I did see Sabs. Yes, he was So yeah, that would to me would be like another reading on the Men in Black, and with it being with Indrid Cold, because he came actually with a um, two Men in Black to the household, the Darren Berger household, and that's where the daughter got to actually see, Indrid Cold and know that he was not, um, from this planet. And according to her, he remained connected on and off for 50 years with her family until her father passed. Um, whether Oh no, we didn't read on that yet, but that would be something we could always. Sherry, would you be interested on reading on the Men in Black because she
Yeah, we
has
can
such
do
a
that.
connection to, the ET realm, and I'll see if maybe we can get Scott to join us and see what his guide.
Is he
He's
here?
he's very busy. No, I invited him, but he has been like doing lives every night this week, and he goes, "My Nancy might want me tonight," and I said, "Well, let your Nancy have you."
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask if I don't think Indrid was related to the Men in Black, though, because Men in Black can be very aggressive. Um, so I'm not sure because that would seem like a very unlikely pairing. Um, but when you talk about Men in Black, it's so hard not to think of the movies. But yet, if you look at it, it's really interesting that it does show how small our brains can think. Like, how can a whole galaxy fit inside a tiny little marble on a kitty cat necklace? Where we can't even you know
Yeah.
accept or know or understand our own planet, our own depths of our oceans. Or how very little knowledge we have of what what possibility is. So I'm just going to ask if Indrid Cold was one of the members of the Men in Black. I'm feeling he wasn't, and I know I just feel like maybe after a certain point, because of how brutal some of these men became, um, because people have, yeah, I'm not going to go in too in depth because Men in Black is so vast. That would be another whole
Just
segment.
for starters, for the Men in Black,
Yeah.
I pulled a few. You start out with Dark Side of the Universe, Mirror and
Mm.
Archangel Protection.
Okay.
So, followed with Completion, Destiny, Success. Ending with Love Yourself. Because that's what it comes. You got to love
Mm.
yourself before you can love someone else.
Yep.
And then I went with the Moonology, full moon in Sagittarius. Look at the bigger picture. Okay.
Yeah.
And from there, the waning mood. What do you need to release? What do you need to let go of? And tomorrow is the day to do that. Tomorrow's a new moon. And then
Mm.
step out of your comfort zone,
That
the North
explains a
Node,
lot. Yeah.
So it's telling us, to go down this road, we're going to have to step out of our comfort zone because we are a warring people, no matter where on the planet you are, or what color, or what race, or we all tend to want to fight. Let's fight. We'll just kick somebody's butt. It's like, no, it's not always the answer. But
Yeah, this is interesting. The cards I just got, Patricia. I'm gonna go with these first with Indra Cole and the Men in Black. Um, he did make the choice, you know, to join them, but I think as time went along, he started seeing that with cleaning house, he didn't like what was being, he is feeling like they were not doing what he felt was the right thing to do. If that makes sense, because then I got the deep freeze, and of course his last name is Cold. How can we,
Mm,
And for
there you go.
Mr. Cold, it was more important to bring people together, coming together. And so I'm thinking more of the Men in Black is releasing, having a good cry, which was interesting and how that was there. But I think for right now, maybe he was sad. He had to release his connection to them because then, Patricia, I got this card. So I think that the Men in Black, that after that initial visit, he started seeing, and he wanted people to learn, gotta start learning how to take control of your own life to get
Those
out
are
of that
two of the cards I
victim.
pulled last night,
And again, technology is great, but take time for yourself.
and I just
So,
pulled that one.
mm-hmm. So
But
I
the
think
other
he
two you just
saw
showed,
hmm
I had pulled those last night.
these two.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think maybe the initial ones that were with him, and as the government, as more started to come forward wanting to help people, I think the government may have been bringing it, because there have been Men in Black in the past,
Yeah.
that and even recent that are caught on video now that look inhuman. So there are have one been men that are flesh and blood human, but there are also ones that are non-human, and I think that's what one of those cards, that entity card, was not all of them are good, and you have to be very careful. And
Well, anytime you give someone or something power, you got to go back to what they are made of, where their soul and morals and ethics are as to what they do with that power. I mean, how many times as we as the human race, put someone into a power position because we think that they're going to be a good leader, just have them do a complete flip around and be very destructive for us because the power gets to them. It may not happen overnight, but slowly but surely, I mean, we've seen it happen over and over all throughout history.
mhm,
You know, kings and queens that the people loved that turned into monsters. I mean, just because of the power. It's a very addictive drug.
yeah, especially a lot of our leaders in this country, who started out, with probably good intentions, but once they got in there, they saw what was really going on, and they had to abide by, you know
Well,
what
it,
was
it
laid down
helps if
before
the
them.
person in office knows how government actually works. Um, that should be a starter. Maybe we should start making our elected officials have to take a competency test of just a citizenship test. Do you even know how your government operates? Because
Yeah.
there's a lot of them in there right now
Mhm.
that you listen to them talking. It's like, what country are you talking about? That's not how our
Yeah.
government works. I mean, did you not
Well,
know this before you ran
well,
for
where
office?
I live is very red. Even though New York State is blue, Western New York is very red. And every day I'm seeing the F Biden stickers and flags flying. I'm seeing Giuliani for mayor still
Oh,
here
God.
and there. I'm seeing Trump 2024 flags still.
Hey, I'm in
I'm,
South Louisiana, baby.
but the
We
last
may have a
card,
Democratic governor, but we are a very red state. I mean,
mhm. And the last card from Scott's, just really quick, also kind of taps on what I think it was Patricia had said. Somebody mentioned
yeah.
about we can't even, Kala Lizzie.
Calla
This
Lizzie
came
says,
out. Yeah, water source for life, purity. I mean, we don't even know what is in the depths of our oceans. We really need to start learning how to cleanse our bodies, not just,
There are still places.
water. Get rid of the preservatives, the bad foods we're eating, start connecting again to the earth, start, opening our eyes and stop being addicted to the stuff that's not good for us. That actually keeps us, you know, easy to control, basically.
There are places on this planet that we've not discovered yet,
Mm-hmm. Oh
that
yeah.
we've not been able to get to yet for whatever reason. And you want to talk about, let's go down into the depths of the ocean? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
another orb just flew in front of your face.
It did. You sure it wasn't a dust or a bug?
No, it was a very direct sideways kind of move right across your face.
Oh,
And
well, I do have a
I'm
fan going on too
looking.
right here.
Okay, now I look too late over there. It's already passed. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's we don't know what's at the bottom of the oceans. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know. There are areas of
Or
this
or
planet.
we might, and we're not letting people know because of what it would
This is
do.
true.
Because if all of a sudden all the world governments came forward and said, okay, laid it right out, you know, it would be such mass hysteria. I would hate to say it, but people would probably be doing unthinkable things, taking the lives of themselves or others or families, because a lot of people, their beliefs and their faith is so deep into what, our mainstream religions have taught us, that if they were to all like to come forward and say, well, this is really what's going on, that would be an increase, a crisis in faith.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, it would be what would, I mean, I couldn't imagine, the horror for some of these people that would occur and what could
So
possibly play out.
the 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 fallout from people's reactions. No, Sabs, I don't think
No,
if we were meant to
I
live on
think there was
Mars, we'd have been
once,
born there.
I think there was once a civilization, and part of
I
that might
mean,
be what we're here, but right now there's
I,
nothing
I think
on Earth, on there to sustain life.
going back to what you were saying about, the crisis of identity that would go through so many
Mm-hmm.
people. Yeah, Calla Lily's right. They would shut down completely, or
Mm-hmm.
they would be convinced that it's the end of the world now, so we need to just take out as many as we can.
Mm-hmm.
And how many of these
Yeah.
religious nuts are in a leadership position to actually
Especially
do?
in this country. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently reading Malcolm Nance's newest book. They Want to Kill Americans. I highly recommend it to
I never
anyone.
heard of that.
It's his newest book. It just came out a couple months ago. It just came out in audible form through the public library because I can't afford to buy books anymore. I have to just check them out. Um,
What's the
and
author's name?
Malcolm Nance, if
Nance.
he is a retired naval intelligence officer.
Okay.
He spent 8 years undercover with the Taliban as a double spy. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
And he's still
Um,
alive to tell the tale.
and he walked away. And he's been, you can say, he's on
Check him out.
Stephanie Miller's show every week. Either as a call in or if he gets into the studio, he gets out on the West Coast. Um, when Ukraine happened,
Mm-hmm.
he went to Ukraine and said, "You have my services," and signed up in their army and went to war, went to battle. And then he left for a while because his book finally got released that he's been working on for the last several years. Um, and uh,
Mm.
I mean, look him up.
Yes, thank you, Vivian.
The last 3, 4 books he wrote all has to do with what has happened from say 2015 forward.
Cute Kala, little.
Yes, and I tell you what, I'd snatch that man up in a New York second. Um, he also just lost his wife that he'd been married to for a long, long time. She was she was an American, but she grew up in France, so she spoke with a very distinct French accent. And
Ooh.
people would think that she was an American, and he was like, no, she was born right here. Um, she was a landscape artist, not just somebody you call to like mow your grass. She was someone who would come in and design like
Environment art, yeah.
all of the environment, what goes where. She was very good at it, from what I understand. I
She
know,
probably has a good understanding of feng shui too.
yeah,
Um,
I'm sure. But and Malcolm was a diehard Republican most of his life until all this mess with the former guy and all that
I just want
started
to
up,
touch really quick, Sobs.
you know.
I don't necessarily, well, for me personally, I have much distrust. I don't have a lot of faith in this gentleman. And that's, my personal opinion. And that could be maybe something that could be read, but as always, for entertainment purposes only. I just
Right.
didn't
I
want
mean,
to
this
ignore,
is just our opinion here. I highly, highly recommend reading Malcolm's books. You can get them from the public library. You can check them out. You can get them in audible form. All of his books I just checked out from the library and read them, or listened to them. Um, you can buy them all on Amazon. Just plug in Malcolm Nance, and it'll take you to all of his books. He's got a whole bunch of them that he's written. But he was a naval intelligence. His job was to go in and decipher what was going on, to be able to tell his commanders when he went back what to expect next. What are they going to do next? Who are they going to bomb next? And he was very, very good at his job. And he was talking about what happened in
that's
2020
heavy.
and 2021, a year before it happened. He was talking about it. Thank you, Viviani. Um, and that's just my opinion. I have the utmost respect for the man. I mean, the fact that he was also Navy has a lot to do with it. My late husband was Navy. My son was Navy. Um,
So's my Shan. He was a Navy CB.
yeah, my son was a sonar tech. My late husband was a sonar tech. My brother was in the Army. He was a tank mechanic. Um, so yeah, a lot of military in my family. Um, but just listening to this book, and I'm about halfway through it now, is just, it's like I have to stop and put it down and walk away from it because it starts getting to me. I start getting so upset by it. And it's like, which is why I think I wanted to go with Val when you contacted me the other day,
Yeah,
because I need something
that was
light,
positive. Yeah,
something
like
really positive to read on, because I don't want to go there. Cause,
that's why I don't watch the news on my iPad, or I don't follow a lot of the political readers on here. It's just because I can't handle that day in and day out like I used to. Be able to read. I pick and choose very carefully, but I mean, already having mental health and having PTSD, and working on anxiety and whatnot and depression every day. I really need to stay focused on what keeps me at a level that I can handle, and too much of
yeah,
the news and
see,
everything,
my
I
son
had to
battles
walk away.
PTSD. My son battles PTSD. He did 2 deployments to the Middle East when he was in the Navy. He was on a destroyer,
Oh
and
wow.
there were a couple of incidences that are, I think, still classified at this point.
Hmm.
I don't think they've been declassified yet. Of
Or they
events,
are, they're heavily redacted.
events that happened that he was personally involved in the middle of, and so,
Wow.
um, yeah, he still has. My buddy Lon, his show's starting in 30 minutes. Okay, I just got a notification.
Yeah, go check out
So
Lon
y'all
Shan.
can
He's
go
got
over and check
always a
it out.
really good panel.
After we're through, y'all can go over and check it out. But yeah, I mean, one grandfather was a CB in the Navy in World War II. He was in the Pacific Fleet. The other grandfather was in the Army, and he went to Europe, where he fought in France and Spain because he was a little Cajun guy. So they sent him to France thinking, oh, well, you can talk to the French. It's two different languages. There's Cajun French and there's French French, and they don't sound
Yeah.
alike, you know.
Nope.
Um, there's Canadian French. It's three languages, right there. Um, but uh, but yeah, I mean, I've always been a news junkie for years and years and years, and I would watch it morning, noon, and night. But the last 5 years, or actually longer than that, since 2008, when we elected President Obama in office, and all of the crap started happening, and it was like I was so bombarded with it that it was starting to make me physically ill.
Hmm.
And then about halfway into the former guy's term, I had to stop watching the news.
Yeah.
I
Because I
had to,
wanted to vomit. Physically
I had,
ill. I would want to
it
run to the
it was
bathroom.
literally making me physically ill. I had to just turn it off and cut the cable off. We don't have cable anymore, you know. But that's
Yeah.
a good one, Gally. Um, so yeah, I mean,
I mean, you gotta watch the news because Shan, likes to scroll on the phone during, looking at the news and stuff. And
well, yeah, I want to know
he
what's
he
going
sh- he
on.
showed me something, and I showed him because this is exactly one of the things threw up something that was automatically something that was an emotional clickbait. There was nothing that was in the title that could be verified, but they know that that would get people outraged, upset. They would
Because
click
most
on it.
people never
And
read past the headline.
and at
They
one
see
point
the
I go
headline
to
and
him,
they go flip out.
and I'm trying to explain to him. I go, see, this is why I don't scroll and look at the news, because even though yes, some of this is true, this here hasn't been proven at all, and it raises up these emotions. And him at one point we're just kind of like not, you know, being violent, but we were just like, okay. I was like, we have to stop, and I had to show him, see, this is what they're doing. They want people to constantly be fighting each other. They want people to be against each other, because
Yeah.
when you're divided, you don't stand together and go after who's really. So I'm very, cautious now with what
Well,
he
like
wants to
many of
show
our
me.
founding fathers said, no outside country can come in and tear us apart or take us over because of the kind of people that Americans are. That's
Yeah.
only going to be done from the inside, from our own people. And we're watching it happen, and it's scary as hell. And
Hmm.
you just want to slap some of these people and say, wake the hell up. Smell the coffee. I mean, what's wrong with you? But, and I'm talking about family. So, I mean, I've just had to distance myself from
Hmm.
quite a few and just be like, you know what?
Yeah.
We're going to have to just agree to disagree
Yeah.
and leave
I
it at
wa-
that.
I watched Scott's show in the morning on Sunday, because I like the addition of Jeffrey and with Nancy Jean,
Mhm.
because Nancy Jean had worked in the political
Oh,
system.
yeah. She knows what she's talking
She
about.
knows everything inside and out. So I really like. So I watch her every now and then. I'll grab Cash Peters, and that's pretty much it now. I used to, whenever anything popped up with like Andrea or Linda G or with Debbie, and I love these ladies, but I just can't keep clicking on all the the political anymore. I have to be very careful on what because I have to keep my
My,
energy up.
my son cannot watch news. He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to know it.
So it's
It,
like,
it sets off triggers, and
mm-hmm,
he just can't deal, you know. Um,
mm-hmm.
5 years
I
in the Navy did, I mean, he did some screw ups too that kind of messed him up, but
but he
it
has this. He's got great coping skills, though. He's got his music, he's got his art, which is so
now that he's
powerful.
gone back to it again, it's
And
helping. Yeah. Next step,
yeah,
professional help. So,
and that's so important. And again, that's like what Kelly discusses on her channel. I've discussed as a guest on her channel, and with Ange from Tiny Trinkets and Tarot. Our just not just America, but globally, the mental
yeah.
health system really needs to be overhauled
Oh,
because so many people are afraid that they're going to get stigmatized. That if they go to get help from a doctor for something with anxiety, or they're feeling, or they're having some depression, that they're going to be labeled, and that and it has to stop, and the media doesn't help at all.
no.
Police need to be trained on how to handle individuals who are going
Just
through
shooting them isn't the answer.
episodes instead
Yeah.
of just shooting them afterwards.
Yeah.
Just there just needs to be much more of a discussion, but unfortunately, the news likes to install
And that's
fear
why
into
uh,
people, and so
universal medicine,
yeah,
Medicare for all, whatever you want to call it. I don't care what name you want to give it. But, that's
it has to be addressed.
that's
It's
not just
important.
for our benefit, but it's for our country as a whole benefit. That its
And
people
young
are
people too.
healthy, physically healthy, mentally. I mean, you shouldn't have to go bankrupt because you have to have major dental surgery because of whatever reason. You shouldn't have to go
That's
bankrupt
Shan right now. Yeah.
because your appendix blows on you and you got to go into the hospital for emergency surgery. I mean, it's
Oh,
stuff
I
like
was there. Hmm.
that. And you shouldn't have to wait until you're so sick you're on death's door because that's the only way the emergency room will take you because you can't afford to go to the doctor when you first get sick and just be given a pill or something to take and
That's the one thing
take
about
a
New
couple of
York
days.
State is that I can't complain about my home state is that if you have to go into the hospital for anything and you don't have the money or the income to cover it, you can apply for Medicaid, and they do help you.
Yeah.
When I was in
Arizona
Arizona, I
used to
got
be
hit
like
with
that.
bills.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Arizona used to be like that when
More.
back in 2008, 2009. My mom was still living with me out in Arizona, and she had a brain aneurysm. Now, thank God it didn't burst; it just like
Hmm.
sprung a leak, according to the doctor. But it literally dropped her to the ground like that. Her coworkers are calling me on the phone saying, "Oh my God, something's happened to your mom," and I rushed her to the hospital, and they ran her through a bunch of tests, come back out and said, you had an aneurysm that we can't deal with it here. We don't have the stuff in this facility to deal with it. Now, fortunately, we were in Phoenix, where the fifth largest neurological institute in the world is at.
Yeah.
And that's Barrows Neurological Institute is there in Phoenix. And they shipped her across town
I
to,
lost my friend Nan in Flagstaff
and
to a brain aneurysm in
was
2012. Yeah.
admitted and had surgery within 24 hours. We were being told that, it's going to take months of rehab and blah, blah, blah. She was home a week later
Mm.
because they couldn't keep her in bed. I mean, that was my mom. She had her
Yeah.
damn IV pole and she'd take off and go visit the other people in the ICU. The nurses would be like, Miss
Not
Sharon, you're
me.
supposed to be in the bed. No, I don't want to lay down. I mean, and this was within a week after having brain surgery. That was my mom, but
Yeah,
that was all
when I lived in
possible.
Arizona, I had to get rushed to the hospital multiple times, twice for life threatening, and I still end up having to pay quite a hefty bill. And that's why, at least with New York, oh, look
See
at
how big she's
her.
gotten?
Look how big
She's
Minu.
huge.
Hi, Minu.
Oh,
Oh, I
okay.
guess
Normally
not.
you want to get right between me and the computer. Yeah. She's like, not now, Mom. I'm not ready.
Well,
And so yeah, I mean, uh
a lot
my
needs to
mom didn't
be
have
changed.
insurance, she didn't have money, and they're like wheeling her off and to do surgery, and I'm freaking out. And this very nice lady
Mhm.
comes in the room and says, "Oh, don't worry, darling. Here, just fill out this form or get her Medicaid." And it was like that fast. No problem. No issues. No,
Oh, I wish I had that
did you
when I
meet
was there.
this parameter or did you meet that parameter? Yeah. And I thank God that we had a Democratic governor when the stimulus package first came out. To Not the stimulus package, I'm sorry. When the health care finally clicked in, our governor accepted the Medicare and Medicaid expansion from
Hmm.
part of the health care. Because of that, my son was able to get on Medicaid
That's good.
because the VA won't deal with him because
Mhm.
he screwed up.
The VA here is, yeah,
Well, he screwed
they're
up
useless a
at
lot
the
of
end,
time.
and he was starting to trip out and screwed up, and they cut him off. So
Mm,
instead of helping him, and
yeah,
some
it's
of it's his fault, some of it's their fault, but it's he's got help now because of Medicaid, and thank God. I don't know how we would afford
Mhm.
anything without it. So
Well, Miss Sharon, or Miss Sherry, excuse me.
mhm.
It is
I
quarter
get
to
every
9
variation.
here. I need to eat dinner. My sugar level's dropping. Did you want to
Yeah.
do a last card for the collective for everybody?
Sure, let's do that. Let's do a last card for the collective. And y'all come see me tomorrow night on my channel, 6 o'clock
Oh
Central.
yes.
My first year channelversary party. I am so excited and nervous all at the same time.
Oh, you're gonna be fine. You're a pro now.
I ran into one of our housekeepers at work today, uh, Miss Betty. She's absolute sweetheart, and we were just sitting there jibber jabbering, and I said, "Yeah," I said, "Well, I'm a YouTuber now. I got my own channel." And she's like, "What do
Wait,
you
what?
do?" And I said, "Well, I read tarot and oracle cards." She backed up a step and looked at me. She says, "No, you don't." I said, "Yeah, I do." I said, "Here, look, I wrote it down, my name of my channel." She says, "Oh, I love that stuff." She said, "I'm going to go look you up when I get home." I said, "You go, girl." I said, "I'm having a big party tomorrow night." I said, come be in
Oh,
the
that's
chat.
awesome.
And I've got one of my students. She showed up last weekend when I was on, and I actually read for her and didn't realize it was her. What are you
Oh,
doing? Stop that.
time to
Get down.
play.
Um, and then she had to come see me the next day at work, going, "Hey."
Very cool.
Uh,
I'm just gonna go quick
yeah,
pulling
my
first
kids
because
at
these
work is
cards
getting.
flew right out. These flew right out. Love and connect with other souls, and not just other souls, but with yourself as well. We gotta remember to love ourselves. Um, Light and Reiki energy. Make sure that you're giving it to yourself. Sending that love and light out to others, and pay attention to the wisdom from your elders that you receive, whether in spirit, in human form. Um, it it's there for you if you ask,
Yeah.
and so is
We're,
the healing light.
we're going to start with the South Node. Don't let your past hold you back. Go forward. Do what you feel called to do. From there, we're going to the disseminating moon. Take time to breathe out. Take that deep breath. And then
Three
just
in and three out.
breathe in through your nose and think to yourself, "I'm breathing in positive." And then let it out through your mouth. "I'm letting out the negative." and just breathe. And then it ended with, and I pulled this earlier, the North Node. Step out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it.
Well, Miss Sherry, thank you so much for joining me
Thank you,
and
ma'am.
playing with me. And so we'll have to make a time when it's good for you. And we'll have to do a reading on the Men in Black. It's a very popular topic in chat tonight. So,
Yes, it is.
and we'll have to see
Um,
if we can get Mr. Allen on here with us.
I got
Mr.
a
Scott.
3-day weekend coming up next week. So
Okay, let me know what day would work for you, and then I'll reach out to him.
um, Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. It's Labor Day.
Already.
Federal
Oh my
holiday.
goodness, I forgot.
It's federal holidays, so we
Summer
get the
is
day off.
over already.
It's one of the
Jeez.
pluses of being civil service. You get all the holidays off.
Yep.
One of the
Somebody I
pluses
never
of working for a university, you get a Christmas vacation at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And yeah, Calla, look out.
I can't
Don't
do I'm
hurt
not even
somebody
gonna
with
try
it.
to do it the way Lisa does it. She's got that
Yeah.
way. She goes
Oh.
boom.
Yeah, she can make that whip sound. It's like I can't do that. But
So just and before we go, if we can ask a prayer. I have a neighbor across the hall from me. She's apparently in an abusive relationship. Third time in the middle of the night. This time it was 5:30 in the morning. He was after her, screaming, yelling. I could hear her crying. In the apartment building that we're at, it's hard to be able to call. If there was anything I could actually hear that was physical going on, would have called 911. But it calmed down soon after. But if we could just send love and light to the young woman and I believe her son in apartment 22, my neighbor, that would be greatly appreciated. I did reach out to the leasing
absolutely.
agent and she said to thank you for letting her know. And I said, DV, which is the domestic violence, is very prevalent in my family. And,
Yeah.
and it was heartbreaking to hear her this morning crying. And I said, she told me to keep her in the loop. So remember apartment 22.
I never really understood that. And then I met a girl back in my 20s. And when I realized what was going on, it was mind blowing for me that because to see them in public, you would have never, ever
Yeah,
thought
very well hidden.
that he
Yes.
treated her badly in any way. And
And I never see her out by herself. She's always with him. So it's not like I can ask, are you okay?
yeah,
Do you need
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Most
So
abusive relationships like that, they keep them very, very tightly, they cut out all the outside influence. So
yeah, so that we can keep
definitely will keep her in my prayers.
so
Send her
that would be much appreciated, everybody.
lots of healing help.
Hmm. Keep her and her child safe.
Yeah, especially for a child, because if he's doing that to her, what is he doing to the kid?
See, I rarely ever see or hear them, and the only time I really do now
It
is
doesn't
when
have to be
when it's
physical, but emotionally,
hmm
mentally, what is he doing to that kid?
I mean, I woke up and I was half out because of my medication I take at night, and I looked through the peephole and I stood by that door in case I heard anything for a few minutes. It sounded like something, something was happening to her. I would 911, but I had to follow protocol, I guess, with my apartment, at least, apartment complex. So,
My late husband was a maintenance man. We lived in a lot of complexes, and yeah, because he was a maintenance man and usually was the one that was there when domestic violence calls would be made, the cops would
mm,
come to our house and come get him because he would have a key to get them inside if the people
mm,
didn't want to open the door.
yeah.
And so it can
And
be
even
hard.
and even like to him to try to kind of have him learn how to control his emotions, so just that protective light for her and her child and love and light to him to help maybe open his eyes and say I need help,
Yeah.
or two. So That's what Scott teaches me. Always, even the people that make you angry or are awful people, try to just send them love and compassion and hope that they awaken.
Who was it?
Enough to.
Kim, Intuitive Kim, I think it was, or somebody back when Ukraine first happened. The
Mhm.
first thing they were saying was send send love and healing energy to Putin to change his heart.
And it really didn't. But it may have
Thought at
helped.
the time, I thought, well, what about all the people he's attacking? But then I thought, but if we can change his heart, then maybe he won't be attacking anybody. And now, from everything I hear and see, and from what I've heard other readers say, he's on death's door. So, for entertainment purposes only, I know
Only.
nothing.
Yes,
I'm
YouTube.
just
They
a
will be here on the
61-year old
news.
lady talking out my butt. But you know,
I'm a 51-year-old lady just talking out of her butt.
well, come say goodbye. Come say
Bye,
goodbye.
you.
No, you want to bite and chew on mama. Look,
You
look
send
right
love to
there.
all the animals
Say
too.
goodbye.
Oh,
Say
she's
goodbye.
beautiful. Oh, bite your
Oh, she
mama.
chews on me all the time.
She's beautiful. Look at that face. That little tigress.
That's the only reason why we keep her, because she's so cute. Because she can be mean as hell.
Yeah.
My arms are nothing but a mass of scratches and bites, all from her. And she still terrorizes the dogs. Thank you for
Okay.
inviting me. I had a
Yes,
lot of
thank you,
fun.
Sherry. And thank you, everybody in our chat
Thank y'all for
being
coming.
here. And please make sure to like and subscribe to Sherry, to Sharon Rhubarb, Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot, my channel. If you haven't already, I'm at 250, Sherry. I'm halfway there. So just like you,
My last, wait, let me look real quick. My last, I'm at 281.
woo!
I got
So
19 more to go and I hit 300. Yay! And then
we're on
it's
our way
200.
up.
And then it's 200 to make it to five. So
Yep.
those are my
And I
goals.
and I just keep
And I'm going to do
envisioning.
something special when I make 500. I just don't know what yet, but
Ooh.
I'm going to try to think of something.
Stay tuned, everybody. Make sure to like and subscribe so when she does, you're there.
Everybody gets a shot.
Yep. Alrighty, everybody, wherever you are, have a beautiful evening, day, morning. And again, Sherry, thank you. And I'm going to go eat.
Ma'am.
And
Yeah, I'm going to go stick a
have a
pizza in
good
the oven, I think. I bought one of those
Ooh.
DiGiorno's. So,
Oh, those are good.
yeah, I like them too. They're a lot cheaper than calling Pizza Hut. Yeah.
Yeah. Alrighty, everybody. Good night. Blessings.
Bye, everybody.
Mwah.
Hugs and kisses to all.